Sit quietly for a moment and recall your most recent dream. Perhaps it was fragmented, fleeting, almost absurd. Or perhaps it was vivid, filled with emotions so real that upon waking, you felt as though you had lived another life during the night. To many, dreams appear as curiosities, strange plays of the mind with no real significance. But I tell you this, dreams are the most important window into the unconscious mind. They are, as I've often said, the royal road to the unconscious. Why do I call them that? Because in dreams, the defenses of the waking mind are lowered. During the day, your conscious self is busy managing responsibilities, following rules, and presenting a respectable image to the world. This is what I call the ego. The ego is necessary. It organizes your daily life and allows you to function in society. But beneath it lies another, more powerful realm, the unconscious, filled with desires, fears, and conflicts you often prefer not to face. In dreams, this unconscious material emerges, not directly, not openly, but in a disguised form. Your mind, even while sleeping, resists confronting the raw truth of your hidden desires. Instead, it cloaks them in symbols, distortions, and substitutions. This is why your dreams so often appear strange, illogical, or fragmented. They are coded messages, requiring interpretation to reveal their true meaning. Consider this. When you dream of flying, is it simply about soaring through the sky? Or does it represent a wish to break free from limitations, to escape responsibilities, to experience a kind of power denied to you in waking life? When you dream of being pursued, is it merely about a chase? Or is it your unconscious showing you the conflict you run from during the day? A fear, a guilt, a truth you refuse to face? Dreams, then, are wish fulfillments. At their core, they express desires that are repressed, desires your conscious mind finds unacceptable, forbidden, or threatening. Yet they do not vanish. They find their way to the surface, masked by the language of dreams. And in that language, the truth of who you are is revealed. But dreams are not only about desire, they are also about compromise. The unconscious wishes to express itself, while the ego resists. Dreams are the product of this negotiation, a middle ground where forbidden wishes can appear, but only in symbolic form. To understand dreams is to understand this delicate balance between what you want and what you allow yourself to see. So, I invite you to take your dreams seriously. They are not meaningless. They are messages from within, waiting for you to listen. If you learn their language, if you dare to decode their symbols, you will discover truths about yourself that no waking reflection could ever reveal. This is where our journey begins, with the understanding that every dream is significant, that every dream hides within a piece of your unconscious life. And if you have the courage to look closely, your dreams will show you who you really are. If dreams are indeed the royal road to the unconscious, you must understand why their messages are not given to you plainly. Why do your dreams not simply state, "This is your desire," or "This is your fear"? The answer lies in what I have called the dream work, the process by which unconscious material disguises itself in symbolic form. The dream work serves as a guardian of sleep. If your forbidden wishes were presented to you directly, they would awaken you in terror or shame. Your conscious mind would reject them violently. And so, the unconscious employs two primary mechanisms to cloak its messages: condensation and displacement. Condensation means that many ideas, memories, or desires may be compressed into a single image in your dream. You may see a face that looks like no one you know, yet it carries the features of several people at once. Or you may walk through a house that you do not recognize, but which contains fragments of places you have known since childhood. This is the unconscious at work, condensing multiple meanings into a single symbol. Displacement, on the other hand, shifts the emotional intensity of one idea onto another, less threatening one. You may feel overwhelming fear in a dream, yet the image that accompanies it seems trivial, perhaps a small animal or a stranger's glance. The fear does not belong to the image itself. It has been displaced from something deeper, something too painful to face directly. In this way, the unconscious protects you, even as it reveals itself. Together, condensation and displacement ensure that your dreams are not literal. They are puzzles, coded messages that require interpretation. Without this disguise, the truths of the unconscious might overwhelm you. With it, they appear in forms strange enough to pass unnoticed, unless you are willing to examine them. Consider, for example, a patient who dreamed of a locked door. In waking life, she dismissed it as nonsense. But through analysis, we discovered that the locked door was a condensation of two realities: her childhood memory of forbidden rooms in her father's house, and her adult fear of intimacy with her partner. The dream did not say, "You are afraid of closeness." It said, "There's a locked door." The unconscious speaks in symbols because that is the only way it can be heard without being rejected. So, when you recall your own dreams, do not be deceived by their strangeness. Ask yourself, what might this image contain? What feelings are displaced onto this object? In every dream, the truth lies not on the surface, but beneath the disguise. Dreams are not lies. They are true spoken in a secret language. And when you learn to read that language, you uncover the parts of yourself that have remained hidden, perhaps even from your own waking mind. If you have followed me thus far, you will see that dreams are not random fragments, nor are they simply noise produced by the brain. They are structured messages, written in a symbolic language. To interpret dreams is to learn that language, to recognize its grammar, and to listen carefully to what the unconscious wishes to tell you. Symbols, you see, are the preferred vocabulary of the unconscious. They allow powerful desires and fears to appear in forms that are acceptable, even when their true meaning would be intolerable. Thus, a dream of climbing a mountain may symbolize ambition, struggle, or sexual striving. A dream of water may represent birth, danger, or the depths of emotion. The symbol itself is not fixed in meaning. Its interpretation depends on the unique history of the dreamer. This is why I always insisted that the key to a dream cannot be found in a book of interpretations alone. A dictionary of symbols may amuse you, but it cannot reveal your personal truth. For one patient, a snake represented temptation. For another, it embodied the fear of illness. The image is shared, but the meaning is always individual. Yet, some symbols are so universal that they appear across cultures and centuries. The house, for example, often symbolizes a self, with the roof as a head, the rooms as inner life, and a hidden cellar as the unconscious. Doors, keys, and stairways often represent transitions, secrets, or the boundary between conscious and unconscious states. These recurring images remind us that, though each psyche is unique, the structures of the human mind share much in common. When you begin to reflect on your dreams, you may notice how the unconscious selects symbols that speak to your deepest concerns. A patient once dreamed of losing his teeth. He feared it was a sign of illness. But in our analysis, it became clear that the dream symbolized a deeper anxiety. His fear of losing power, vitality, and masculinity. The unconscious had chosen the symbol of teeth because it captured both his bodily and psychological fears. You see, dreams do not lie. They do not invent, they translate. They translate raw, unspoken impulses into images that can slip past the watchful guard of consciousness. And if you are willing to examine these images, they can guide you to self-knowledge. So, I ask you, what symbols have appeared in your dreams? Do you see houses, animals, journeys, or faces half remembered? Each one is a message, waiting to be understood. And here, I encourage you to reflect, even to share. If you feel inclined, write in the comments, what is the most powerful dream symbol you have encountered in your life? Do not be ashamed, for in sharing, we begin to see the universality of our hidden worlds. Dreams speak to all of us. Their language may be secret, but it is also profoundly human. In learning to read it, you gain access not only to your unconscious, but to shared depths of humanity itself. When I first began to study dreams systematically, I noticed something striking. Dreams serve a dual function. They are, at once, the guardians of our sleep and the messengers of our unconscious. This paradox may surprise you. How can dreams protect rest while simultaneously disturbing with strange and sometimes frightening images? The answer lies in their very construction. Consider the child who goes to bed thirsty. Rather than awakening at once, the child may dream of drinking water from a fountain. The dream prolongs sleep by offering a disguised satisfaction of desire. This is a protective role of dreams. They weave images that allow us to continue resting rather than being shaken awake by unmet needs. Yet at the same time, dreams expose the deeper longings that consciousness represses. The unconscious will not remain silent forever. It insists on expression. If our conscious life refuses to acknowledge certain wishes, they will find their way into dreams. But because these desires may be unacceptable to our moral sense, they appear in symbolic or distorted forms. Thus, the dream both protects sleep and betrays the truth beneath it. This, my friends, is why I describe dreams as the royal road to the unconscious. In them, we see the hidden drama of our minds enacted every night. Every person, whether rich or poor, educated or uneducated, powerful or powerless, dreams. In the dream world, kings and beggars alike confront their deepest truths. Think for a moment of your own experiences. Have you ever woken from a dream that unsettled you, yet you could not understand why? Perhaps you dreamed of being chased, of losing something precious, of standing exposed in public. These dreams reveal anxieties that your conscious self tries to avoid in daylight. They are the whispers of the psyche, asking you to listen. The path to self-understanding begins when you dare to listen. Interpretation is not about predicting the future. It is about uncovering the past and recognizing how it shapes your present. The dream of losing your voice may not mean illness. It may reflect the frustration of not being heard in your daily life. The dream of flying may not mean escape. It may embody a longing for freedom that reality denies. I must also remind you, do not dismiss your dreams as nonsense. To do so is to ignore the most profound communications of your psyche. To neglect dreams is to neglect yourself. But if you approach them with patience, curiosity, and honesty, you'll find that they reveal the hidden threads of your life story. I would like to ask you, as you reflect on this, what dream has stayed with you, refusing to be forgotten? Perhaps it recurs again and again. Such dreams often point to unresolved conflicts. Share, if you wish, in the comments, what dream has returned to you most often? In speaking it aloud or writing it here, you may begin to understand its message. Dreams are not interruptions of life. They are part of its deepest fabric. In embracing them, you step closer to the wholeness of who you truly are. As we come to the conclusion of this exploration, I must emphasize what I consider the greatest gift of dreams: their power to heal and to integrate the self. For too long, many have regarded dreams as illusions, mere distractions of the sleeping mind. But I tell you now, with all the weight of my clinical experience, that dreams are essential guides to wholeness. You see, within each of us there exists a tension between desire and duty, between instinct and morality, between the unconscious and the conscious. When these forces are in harmony, we feel balanced. But when they clash, we suffer from anxiety, conflict, and even physical symptoms. Dreams bring these hidden conflicts to light. They allow us to see what we fear, what we crave, and what we deny. In this way, they are the first step toward reconciliation. In my practice, I often witness how a single dream, properly understood, could unlock years of hidden struggle. A patient might discover that the recurring dream of a locked room represented memories they had long suppressed. Another might realize that the dream of failing an examination symbolized not a fear of tests, but a deeper fear of disappointing others. By interpreting such dreams, the patient could finally confront the truth and begin to heal. This is why I encourage you not only to remember your dreams, but to record them. Write them down as soon as you wake, before they dissolve into the air. Do not edit or judge them. Collect them like fragments of a great mosaic, and soon patterns will emerge. These patterns are your unconscious speaking in its native tongue. Listen, and you will begin to know yourself. Healing, however, requires more than understanding. It requires integration. To acknowledge the message of a dream is to take responsibility for the parts of yourself you have neglected. Perhaps you have denied your anger, and it appears as fire in your dreams. Perhaps you have repressed your longing for intimacy, and it comes as a shadowy figure at night. To integrate these aspects is not to surrender to them blindly, but to recognize them as part of your being. In this way, you become more complete. I ask you now, as I would a patient in my consulting room, what part of yourself have you silenced? What figure appears in your dreams again and again, demanding recognition? Reflect on this. If you feel moved, share it here. For in speaking what is hidden, you begin the process of integration. Dreams are not trivial, they are sacred. They remind us that beneath the surface of daily life lies an ocean of meaning, waiting to be explored. If you dare to dive into that ocean, you may discover not only the roots of your suffering, but also the seeds of your transformation. So let us honor our dreams, for in them lives the truth of who we are, the wounds that need healing and the path to becoming whole.